Welcome into another episode of The Right Stuff, a Blood Bowl podcast brought to you by Empire Games, coming out of sometimes lovely, always channeling your fury, Anderson, South Carolina. I'm Annie here with Nathan. We got more Secret League to talk about this week.
We're back. More secrets, more league. We've put the final nail in the coffin of season 9. The Secret League has got our full attention now.
Yes. We do have some announcements to start off. This week we have a new team that has been added. We've got the Touchdown Town Clowns, the human team. Justin's newer person coming in.
Plays a couple other games.
Mm-hmm.
If you really nice guy.
Yeah.
His girlfriend plays Lorcana too, so they're a welcome addition to the store. They just enjoy gaming, which is great. So
yes. So with the addition of that human team, we had an odd number of players, which means
the crabs return.
The crabs are back, which is the most important thing. Actually, this is just going to become the crab podcast, I think, at this point. But yes,
the carcinization of
yes, the inevitable carcinization. Put the pots away. Stop boiling your water. These crabs are not done. They're hungry for humans, apparently. So, yeah, we got games to recap, and then we got a couple games to look at now. So we're almost 2 full weeks through. But we got some week 1 games. So first up, we had the Bloodied Masquerade and Shield Walls. This is Vampires and the Savage Orc team.
Yeah, and the Savage Orc team delivered a beatdown.
Yeah, it just seemed like that team, obviously, a lot of frenzy, some block, like not a thing that I think the stock Vampire team wants to see in their first game.
Yeah, and as the local vampire expert, I've got a lot of critiques for Joel's list that he decided to run with. He opted for a 5 vampire start, and that meant he got 12 players and a total of 3 rerolls. I genuinely believe with vampires, I think starting off, I think you gotta come into that first game 14 players, because you are going to be hemorrhaging players, and your players are going to be hemorrhaging, and you just need a solid number of people to put on the pitch, and I think I like starting. I think you always start double thrower because the thrower is the most insane piece on the team, and then you pick runner or blitzer. I would probably start with the blitzer. That way you've got the 3 strength 4 pieces, and the blitzer starting with Juggernaut makes it a little bit more reliable to go hit people, and that way you only have 3 pieces that are Bloodlust 2+, and you're much less likely to chew through your own team, but that's me critiquing the starting list of the vampires here, and that comes with some vampire experience that I have. You start 5 vampires, you're going to end up 5 vampires on the pitch, 6 thralls on the pitch, and there's going to be a lot of drives. You're going to end with like 4 vampires on the pitch, no thralls, and a lot of that's going to be your own doing. And you need to make sure, like with starting, the one major advantage to starting with 3 vampires is that the way we do MVPs with pick 3, 1 at random, the MVPs always end up on a vampire, and then you can develop the vampire from there. A casualty plus the MVP, or a touchdown plus the MVP, or 2 completions in the MVP means you get block on a vampire. And the sooner you get block on one of those vampires, the sooner you can take pro or dodge. And then once your first vampire is at block, pro, dodge, you can then add an extra vampire to the team, because the block, pro, dodge vampire needs no further skills to be one of the most insane players on the pitch at any given time, right? Anyway, that's my brief aside talking about vampire starting teams and playing them in the league. So,
gotcha. All right, other week 1 game was Touchdown Town Clowns. We were able to get a catch-up game here since we had our Shambling Undead player join the previous week. So we were able to just pair them up against each other for a week 1 game. So Drakenhoff Grave Robbers got a 1-0 win there.
And I observed this game. I was able to complete my store duties while watching this game since both players were new, and both players had like a million questions as we were playing, and I was making sure. I've talked about it before. One of the hardest things for new players to get right is assist math, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was able to help out there. This was Justin failed to score his first touchdown because his player tripped over the tripwire right on the goal line. I felt bad for him, right? Yeah. But I think it's best to learn these lessons early in Blood Bowl. He's right on the goal lines, go for it to score, falls over, coughs up the ball, and the undead team was able to win the game 1-0 at that point. I think it was a good learning experience for both.
Yeah, I think like both halves ended with a shot on Justin to be like stealing the ball. I think he had a shot to like on turn 16 like steal the ball and score just to like clear someone out, but like just couldn't get.
He was in the game. Yeah. And I feel both players were extremely soft on armor breaks. I think Justin was like a little bit ahead. I think Justin had a bunch of damage, but the undead team regenerated through it. I think I was offering some advice early, and one of the mummies got KO'd off the line, and I was like, that's why I don't put mummies on the line, right? Like I don't put anything on the line that I don't want my opponent to kill, and if you're playing undead, that's the perfect place for zombies. Put 3 zombies on the line, let them hit those zombies, and you don't have to worry about it. Then your mummies are there to respond to what's going on the field. Like I said, I think it was a great learning opportunity for both, and I'm glad that the Secret League can function as an avenue for new players to learn some of the game.
Right. Yeah. Getting into week 2 games, we're going to start off with a wild one here. It's Electric City Maulers and the Whale Road Warriors. So within the first 2 turns of this game, we had a turn 0 blitz casualty with the Oni and put like a strength down on one of the Norse players. And then on turn 2, one of the linemen like fouled and then got sent off. So I think that like set the pace for the game. Ended up as a 3-0 win for Henderson, just kind of another game where he's just putting the beat down on people.
Yeah. I think that the Oni is like a really deadly piece, right? Like it's very equivalent to the Bloodspawn, and one advantage it has over the Bloodspawn is that it's got 10 armor, and however, Animal Savagery on the other hand means it's very apt to do damage to your own team. I don't love like Norse's chance against a team like this necessarily. They've got all these turtle men that are like really hard to hurt, and they just kind of gunk up the field, and so you can't get to the easier players to hurt. I didn't get to watch this game. When Norse takes 5 casualties, that I always feel like that's probably a product of picking fights you can't win as Norse. But also, I've played Norse for a season. Sometimes you just take 5 casualties because your opponent's blitz just casualty somebody every time, right? There was nothing you can do about it. It didn't matter what you did play-wise. You're just getting hit a whole bunch, and your guys just keep exploding.
Yeah. All right, I guess we had the Jolly Ragers and Ethical Vampires.
Yeah.
Your recap.
Yeah, this one was a slobber knocker. Coop and I were just duking it out at midfield. He had claws, and I actually think Coop's casualty dice were trying to make up for lost ground in that first game. Because while he's got claws, he doesn't actually have Mighty Blow, right? And I've got Mighty Blow, and a lot of Coop's team is 8 armor. Coop was coming out way ahead on the Bash Fest early on, but this is another one of those. Really glad I had 14 players, so I was taking some damage as the game went on. But every time there was a kickoff, I had 11 people on the pitch, I got a fairly lucky touchdown in 2 turns, which is been kind of a thing with this team so far. I'll burn through my rerolls real fast, and then I have to like try to scramble and get a touchdown before halftime, and I just make enough rolls in a row where I did. This game, I ended up getting touchdowns on thralls, which was not like where I want them to go necessarily, but my vampires were busy fighting sharkmen, and I couldn't take one of those sharkmen off the pitch. I even threw some fouls with thralls in that game to try to get one of the sharks off the pitch because they were just like standing up and throwing hits into my guys. Coop did like, I don't think he did any like permanent damage to his team, but this is one of those where both teams, like I've got Bloodlust, he's got Animal Savagery. Like it wouldn't be weird for each of us to take a turn and take out as many of the opponent's players as you took out of yours during the turn. But mostly the damage done was directed at the other player in this game. And I had some late casualties that kind of like evened out the ledger for me and kind of wrapped up the win. I didn't do hardly anything to them on my offensive drive, but I got some casualties playing defense for a couple of turns and was able to keep him out of the end zone and stay up 2-1. So.
All right, let's go to Pendleton, Penumbra, and the Blaviken Bloodhounds. It was a 1-1 draw. We got some Fallon corn here.
Yeah, you got some people who aren't afraid to throw fouls with expensive pieces.
Yeah, that's like looking at that box score. I'm like, oh, Bloodseeker fouls. We're in a spot here.
Yeah. If you go back and you look at who I threw fouls with the corn team, I believe I threw 2 total fouls with the course of the team, and it was always Marauders. Because the Bloodseekers are way too expensive to get thrown out of the game.
Yeah. Next we had All on Red and Lupus Lappin. Okay, so this was one. Obviously, we're on Werewatch for this team. So first week we got 2 werewolves. This week was 7. So half that team became busted. Well, not necessarily like super busted. Like obviously Frenzy is great. But you're missing block, like you don't have like a bunch of skills at that point. But 7 random frenzy pieces running around in the middle of a bunch of stunty players is probably a good place to be.
Yeah, take it from me, as someone who played a lot of corn into a lot of stunty teams. Frenzy gives you so many shots, right? Like when you throw a block in Blood Bowl, you're trying to hit that 777. Right, take somebody off the pitch, get your touch, get the casualty, get your SPP. Right, frenzies are like pushes. You just get rebuys at that lever, and stunties are just so much more likely to be taken off the pitch with a frenzy hit. So, there are lots of times where if the stunty player fails a dodge, you're the werewolves, and you've got like 3 or 4 frenzy hits. You can end up putting all of those players on the ground. And yeah, you might have to mitigate some damage against your own team, but I think you've got a really good. You're going to do more damage to the other team, just over the span of the whole game.
Yeah, he did take one of the Rat Ogres out for the next game, which was one that actually had enough SPP for block. So fortunate for Nessa's next opponent.
Whoever that might be.
Yeah, whoever that is, are probably very happy with that. Up next, we had the Morissette matchup of the week. It's like a bunch of 10 armor and a bunch of claws going at each other. The 27 Club, the Atlantean As Kickers. 3-0 win for Austin.
Yeah. Where do you start?
Block matters.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it matters a whole lot. And I don't know. It looks just like a complete beatdown.
Yeah.
I walked by the table at one point, and I was just kind of like raising his hands, just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Slowly assembling the Surrender Cobra.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far, I think, we talked about the 10 armor for Austin being a change, just as players being more sturdy. And the other part of it, too, slower players means you're less likely to strand somebody somewhere.
Yeah.
Which, against a team with a lot of frenzy and a lot of claws, like if you have someone get out of position somewhere, that could lead to an issue where like all of a sudden that person's getting pushed back into all these other players with claws and you're getting a bunch of blocks. Eventually you're going to break that 10 armor if you get enough hits on it. But being more concentrated and having to kind of stick together as a unit and kind of have that play style, which is not traditionally the elf play style, I think is benefiting Austin.
And honestly, looking at this Sea Elf team, I probably underrated how good block grab is to start with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you don't get to use it on a blitz, but if you're slow moving and you play like on the sideline with this team, I'm actually willing to bet you can do some really sick surfs. And because you can just, because like a typical thing against elves is try to like call them up against you or whatever, right? Like you could come at a blitz at like a specific angle and push somebody into one of your grab guys, and then you just pull them into the rest of the team and throw them out the end zone, right? I think this team is kind of sick. And obviously if Austin keeps putting up numbers like this, then his team is going to be kind of a nightmare down the stretch.
Yeah. All right, next we got the Jolliest Rotters and Bofa. 1-0 win for Clay. We got a big guy touchdown.
Yeah.
Awesome. The animated Hulk or whatever it is. Got rumbling into the end zone.
Yeah. They're slow ogres.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, they're slow ogres is what the animated Hulks are. You get to take 2 of them on that team, so I mean that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think it's just like a thing where it's like Fred is going to find himself into a bunch of strength mismatches with his team. Yeah. And like mitigating yourself around that. Like Fred is definitely the type of player that will like take a bunch of risks, and you're putting your players in really bad positions to start. And I think he got dodge on one of the assassins, so hopefully that'll kind of keep it alive a little bit more. But like it's tough just because that team is like glass cannon.
Yeah, right. So. Yeah, I think it's like an offensive powerhouse. Really, I think the finding a way to get the ball away from your opponent, that's going to be the struggle with the team. Mm-hmm. I can't think of a better team for the kick skill, right? Like you just drill the ball in their end zone every game if you can, every drive, and then you just beat them in a foot race back there. And yeah, you're at a strength disadvantage, but if your whole team is between the opponent's team and the ball, then you're probably going to end up stealing some touchdowns. And then, honestly, these secret league teams have a really bad passing game. So, like, a lot of these teams do not want to start fielding the ball on their 2-yard line.
Right. Yeah.
So,
he can pass against my team, I think. It's probably well advised if anyone's planning on taking that strategy. Next, we had Shield Wall and Serial Killers. I got a little bit of a recap on this game from Jeremy. And he was saying that like his dice weren't super great, and Nate's dice also were not like particularly great. But I think the one advantage that Jeremy had in this game was the giant hands, having big hands, because it was pouring rain. So he was in a position where like having a player with skills that could help him pick up the ball was huge. Just being able to get through and kind of power through some of that. And also, like, obviously we talked about at the start, and I've been kind of going over in my head what the like ideal team composition for this Flesh Golem team would be to start out. And we'll go back and forth on a couple different iterations, but I do think the one upside to how Jeremy has a team is he's got the hands, and the hands are pretty decent at fouling. Yeah. Because they can get in there, they're like harder to take down, and they can just like run around and put a foul in. And fouls were put in work in this game, and he was like, Ironheart skin didn't matter. He was just breaking armor anyway. So
yeah, I guess the major upside to that Savage Orc team is that like fouls are like bonuses to fouls don't matter. Now, if the bonus to the foul doesn't matter, then that means you're more apt to throw a foul with no bonuses to try to fish for those big hits.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, and because the team has Ironheart skin, I think you're like kind of incentivized to foul it because it's just going to be a difficult team to take off the pitch unless you're just straight up rolling the numbers.
Yeah, it's just like worth a shot.
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't get it, you don't get it.
It's the sneaky get philosophy.
Yeah.
Then I roll a 2 on this with sneaky get. Yeah. But I roll a 10 followed by something else. Upside, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yep. All right. Then we had the Bodacious period and the Dragonhof Grave Robbers. That was a 1-0 win. So Jennings scored on turn 3 with the Bodacious period, and then it was just defense from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Both teams duking it out at midfield. I saw parts of it, parts of this game, and there was just a lot of slap fighting going on. I think the Undead, they had some soft dice in that first game. I think it continued into this game as well. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think the major, like if you're a new player and you're playing against stunties, you probably miscalculate what you need to knock over a stunty player. It's so important to blitz with and to get 3 dice also. It's so important to get 3 dice with a block character into a stunty person. And if you do that, then I think you're more likely to just peel skinks in this game. But I think both players were just slapping the crap out of each other, and it didn't really turn into anything. So.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Next we have You've Got Crabs and the Touchdown Town Clowns. So this was a game I played because the Nottingham team is kind of like a ringer for the store, so we're kind of just like handing off. And I really wanted to try the team because it's like.
It's a sick team.
When we first started looking at the Secret League stuff, I think you get to play these giant crabs, these big guys with sidestep. That's just super flavorful.
Yeah. Super
fun, and wanted to try them out. And I'm sold on this team. It was super fun to play. It's a recap of this game was, so I was playing Justin. It was his first game, so we were a little bit out of sequence just to kind of get him caught up, and he wanted to have a sort of introductory game and talk through things. So I played this, and he wins kickoff, so I kicked to him, and I put the Ignim Brights on the line, which are the little. If you have not looked at the stat line for these, if you're listening, they're move 4, strength 2, agility 4,
armor 10,
and then they're dauntless, jump up, stand firm, regeneration. So, and they're 50k. And you can take 4 of them. They are one of my new favorite positions in the game, just because it is such a unique set of combination of stats and skills to where you're you wouldn't normally want to put a strength 2 piece on an ogre, but that was a thing I was actively doing during the game
to keep the ogre busy.
Yeah, it's this is
and with stand
fine.
firm, that you're not even giving up board position by letting him take those hits.
Yeah, so basically the first turn when he took his line hits, he broke armor on 2 of them on the line. So I was okay, this might be a little bit rough. The other one stood up, was able to just lock down the line. The humans got stuck on the line, and then the other Ignim Bright was able to run around the side and kind of they were just gumming up. Each one was tying up 2 humans, and was able to get some good crab blitzes off. Turn 2, I get 2 casualties, one with a crab on a blitz, and the second was I think it was a jump, or it wasn't a jump up, but it was just a hit with the Ignim Bright because the Dauntless is basically I was setting myself up to get 1 die, and then if I spike the Dauntless, I got 2 dice all of a sudden on just a lineman, so it was pretty decent shot at knocking him over. Knocked it over, got a casualty. So going up 2 players on the pitch kind of dictated the game at that point. He was in the backfield trying to secure the ball and kind of cage up and set stuff up, and I was kind of spreading out. The ogre got tied up with a crab that was able to get over there, and eventually by the end of the half I was able to steal the ball and run it in on turn 8. He kicks off to me, and I just run one of the cresters, the little stunty guys, just into the backfield. I'm okay, well, I'm just going to run him back here, and I'm able to get the ball and kind of start up one side, do a little bit of damage on the line. In his turn 2, he fails something like fairly early in the drive in his turn. So then I'm just like able to go up, hand off, score on turn 2, kick back to him, and then it's like a pretty long, drawn out fight for the rest of the half. And he ends up casualtying a crab, and I have to like burn my apothecary there because like I do not want one of these crabs to die.
Yeah.
While I'm borrowing the team.
Yeah.
That would just be a stain upon my record for all time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, gotta save the crab, and end up in this position where the other crab goes bonehead for like 5 turns in a row. And I'm like, okay, so there's a big kind of scrum happening for the ball, and the Ignibrites are just locked in the middle of it, and he's trying to hit them. They're not moving. They're like standing up. Finally, on turn 16, I have to stand somebody up, take a blitz, knock the ball out, and then go pick up the ball, which is helped by the fact that the Cressers have big hands. It's like go in, dodge out, hand it off, and then score on turn 16 to go up 3-0. And it was a super wild game. It was super fun. Having played a couple stunty teams recently, I was like, the team feels kind of like gnomes. Like you've got like the gnome kind of positional feel, but like you're playing with your just linemen are so much better.
Yeah,
because they've got dodge and they're faster.
So I was reading up on why the team has always hungry on the big crabs. Mm-hmm. And it's not because the crab eats the smaller crab. It's because the crab is throwing a player with claws. And so the rationale is that it snips the player in half. It just it just unzippers the other that's crab. This kills the crab, you know. So, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, I like that is like the Ignibrite is jumping up to be one of my favorite players.
Stand firm. If you like stand firm, if I got a team for you. Nobility.
I play that one. I would play nobility if I got 4 of these guys over bodyguards. I would take that trade. But yeah, our week 3 games. We got a couple of these that have gotten played so far. We got the Atlantean Ass Kickers and Justice Planned. Austin has been stymied in this game.
Yeah, but did he leave a mark?
Yeah, like 5 casualties. Good game for him. Like 18 SVP and a loss is
it's
great.
It's wild.
But yeah, Zinch able to kind of keep it ahead.
Yeah, Hypnogaze. So. I'm willing to bet played a major role in this game.
I'm sure. Hypnogaze totally not a busted skill or anything. Then we had Pedal to Penumbra and the Shield Wall. It's a 2-0 win for Nate, so bouncing back from that draw. I was trying to follow the tour play for this, and it looks like they might have just kind of added stuff in near the end.
Yeah, so I think the casualties all got stocked up at the end there. They didn't roll for them until the actual end. Mm-hmm. I don't know what happened here. I don't know that the elf team has enough skills to really offset the orcs there, right? Like the frenzy means you're going to get a lot of extra hits. So I'm willing to bet these. So despite playing against Khorne the week before, Tony here ended up playing against these orcs, and I think the orcs just have better stats all the way around.
Yeah. Like I mean, you're like more likely to like knock out a marauder or something like that than you are one of these orcs. So that can just like stack up if you're not even like incapacitating people, not breaking armor. That's going to be an issue for you.
Yeah.
And our last game of the week, we got the Whale Road Warriors, and I apologize for nothing. This is a game that happened in the store, and we were getting some live Discord updates on it. Yeah. This, I think, shows sort of the duality of the Secret League big guys.
Yeah.
For every Oni,
yeah,
there's a Keeper of Secrets.
Yeah, they'll win a game for you if you activate the model.
Yeah, so it was 3 straight turns at the start of the game where Wayne was trying to blitz with the keeper and just rolled a 1 and could not end up getting that blitz.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you're supposed to do at that point, right? That's the thing with Unchanneled Fury. And that was the thing playing Khorne that I really learned was I would use Frenzy to push models into. I would blitz with the not Unchanneled Fury models, and then would use Frenzy to feed them to the Unchanneled Fury model, if I could help it. That way, I could throw blocks without having to throw the blitz away for the turn. There were a lot of times until you get pro on those big guys with those negative traits. It feels so bad to build your turn around the game plan of throwing a blitz with them, and then they just roll the one.
Yeah.
And the major problem here is the 6-up loner, right? There were times where my blood spawn got himself into trouble, and I would go to roll loner, and I'd get it, and I'd get out of trouble. And there were some times where he didn't get out of trouble, but that's a 50-50 shot. That's not even the 1 in 6 chance.
Yeah.
So throwing rerolls at the big guy on that team's got to feel awful.
Yep. Yeah, and that seems kind of be the name of the game. Like if you start off losing all those shots on a ball carrier.
And I mean the Slaanesh team, I think like on paper you look at this team and you're like, wow, these demonettes are crazy, the Keeper Secrets is crazy. But then you take a second look and you're like, oh, these demonettes are 8 armor 120k players. And yeah, they got regeneration, but they're very expensive and they're not durable, right? Like you can take them off the pitch. They're like werewolves if they had 1 less point of armor.
Yeah.
So you can't really stand and bang with this team at all, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Oh, that's gonna do it for our games this week. We got our in memoriam section. It's pretty short. We had Arrow Hostile, a samurai for the Electric City Maulers that got taken out, and I think that's sort of been the thing that we said about this team is just kind of keeping it in check. Is like it's losing key positionals. Like I think this might be like the second Dead Samurai or something that's happened. So
I think he's got like 9 for the next game or something. Like he's 2 wins. He's got 1 more game. You've got 2 dead players. There's a dead Tournament and a dead Samurai, and then he's got 10 on the roster. So, he's going to have to spend 50k there, so he might give away some inducements.
Yeah, and it's just like I think like you look at the rest of that team, like we mentioned, like it's a slow, grindy team. The Samurai are like your piece that's more mobile. So being able to maximize those, I think early in the season can have like big knock-on effects at the end. But
the Samurai are actually the scoring threats, right? Yeah. Like I actually think the team is garbage at handling the ball outside of the Samurai. So yeah, I mean I think them being the major targets, because there's a lot of stuff in the Secret League that shows how these teams are actually kind of balanced in weird ways that aren't first obvious. You look at a team that's really good at standing and fighting, and then you realize that they have 4 pieces who can actually move the ball.
Yeah. Right.
And so if the whole team is standing and fighting, and then only 4 pieces can move the ball, and you play against one of these teams where it's like you got Hypnogaze, get the guys who are just in the way out of the way, and then go hit the guy with the ball, and he's the weakest person on the team, So.
Then we had a Journeyman for the Whale Road Warriors fall, which is unsurprising, I guess.
Yeah, Norse lineman, traditionally a very dangerous role, particularly Journeyman Norse lineman. Yeah, you're getting asked to take hits.
Yep. And finally, we had Gloria Brewer, a thrall for Ethical Vampires.
Yeah,
how could you?
Torn apart by a shark man, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I'd have to go back and look at the exact game log, but I believe that that thrall, I asked that thrall to take a hit from a shark man.
It got the Suicide Squad treatment.
Yeah.
From Nanaue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, what a fun time. Yeah. So short list of deaths this week.
I did get to replace that thrall with a new thrall And I swear that this was a random name generator. The random name generator produced a thrall named Charity Wayne, which was just funny to me.
Yeah. All right, well, that's going to do it for our recap. We'll take a quick break here and then come back with a little bit of a preview. All right, we got some Week 3 games to talk about. As far as previews go, there's some interesting games. Which ones are sticking out to you from our upcoming?
Well, let's... who we got that's in the win columns? Anybody in the win column facing off against each other? Looks like most of the people who are undefeated right now are not squaring off against each other. One of the unfortunate things of us having to put aside the buys, or sorry, the Swiss system. But you've got Ide and Coop who are playing Claws versus Claws.
Yep.
In a match where Claws will do nothing. Well, maybe the big thing is like Ide's missing his big guy for that game.
Yeah.
And so that I think it's going to get muscled around by all those Sharkmen.
Yeah, I think he's got to hope to spike some removals on those, or put them in situations where they have to eat each other or something to try to get through that. But if he can do it, then that's going to be the thing. I think those are the only real impactful pieces the Claws can really hit in that matchup. So could matter. I know the Crab game this week is one that you will be playing.
Yeah, I'm going to pilot the Crabs against Juan. I think that'll be a fun matchup against the Dirty Dwarves. And so you've got the Ignimbrites who are designed to be beat on, and this Dwarf team, which is designed to foul pieces, but it also has a ton of armor 10. The question is can the Claws do enough damage to Dwarves? And sidestep actually matters in a matchup like this too. If your opponent's trying to foul you, sidestep is actually a great skill to mitigate the amount of fouls that get thrown on pieces, or at least the number of assists. So yeah, it's a funny matchup for sure.
Yeah. We've got a pseudo Ratmageddon this week, all on red, and the Rat Bashers. I'm playing against Ness. I think it's gonna be Sunday, most likely. That one it's going to be interesting. So the really good Rat Ogre's out. He's going to be getting some inducement money. But I'm going to be going in with some extra players, and I'm just going to hope that I can keep the sensor bearers from falling over.
You got some foul appearance, which can backfire spectacularly against like big guys, right?
Yeah.
So the thing about each additional die that you force your opponent to roll, like when I was playing the Bloodspawn and I was playing against Necro, like if I had to blitz or block a Wraith with the Bloodspawn, I hated every second of it. Because it's just like, that's like yet another roll that I could fail that'll keep me from actually hitting the target. So I think with some foul appearance, and you've got some strength 7 pieces, so you can actually hit the Rat Ogre's back.
I think the scary thing for me with the game is like a bunch of 8 armor. But luckily a couple of the pieces with foul appearance also have block, give them an extra layer of stability, and I won't be playing against any block as it currently sits. So I think my plan is to just screen off the players that I really care about, and hopefully just kind of like scalpel little pieces. If I can like pick one of the little rats off.
Well, the Fanatics are actually pretty good against stunty players because they have a tendency to get grouped up, and you're going to get the 3 dice them with those pieces, and you can end up hitting them multiple times in a turn. So you have like a soft frenzy against them. And I think you're probably discovering it playing the team, but those are particularly good pieces.
Yeah, there's a reason that typically teams can only roster 1 ball and chain, and it has secret weapon.
Yeah.
And the fact that this team gets to eschew both aspects of that by like getting to roster both, and then also just getting to leave them on the pitch all the time has been huge. And you pay for it, obviously. Like you can kind of see where the value of secret weapon comes in, or like the discount you get for only having a player for a drive. But yeah, I mean, hoping for this is gonna be the first game with the third reroll. This is the first game where I'll have like a bench, so hoping that those aspects can kind of help me out in this game. But I'm just gonna take it one ball and chain at a time. What other games do we got this week? I think a game that could be interesting is Serial Killers and the Peeled Nuts.
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, John's got a couple games. He's got a week 2 game as well. He's playing against the Bloodied Masquerade, but he might be on the warpath of trying to murder as many people as possible.
You're right. You lose a championship game and it Joker-fies you for sure.
Yeah. And then another game I'm looking at is the Bodacious Period and the Jolliest Rotters. Historical Lizardmen player versus more recent Lizardmen player in the league. One of them playing a variation of lizards and the other one going back to the undead stuff.
Right.
So.
Crawling back to the undead.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. A lot of skills on the undead team, not a lot of skills on the skink team. But a lot of speed on the skink team.
Not a lot of speed on that, huh?
Not a lot of speed on that undead team, you know.
Yeah. That is going to be interesting. So, yeah. If you had to pick one game this week that you're like want to root for or to see, which one is it you got?
I mean, we got like a Warren game. Warren playing against the Werewolves. I think we're just going to be interested in the Werewolf games just from a standpoint of this team is unique. And Warren, like he had a big win with Squigs on the last game. So, you know, I'm interested to see what he can follow that up with. Did he get he took the Hail Mary pass Bombardier Squig. So that's going to be a funny piece.
The Gaba.
Yeah. The Squig Gaba. That one is going to be a funny piece for sure. 1 speed, 5 strength, Bombardier claws. Like, what is going on with this piece? But
passing 2 also. So
yeah.
That's gonna be fun. I think the Squig team is super cool. I think the only one we're missing now is the Mangler Squig, and then we'll have a full suite of Squigs to talk about.
Yeah. It's like that's the thing about these Secret League stunty teams. I like these stunty teams because they actually want to develop their players, and then a lot of them have like a ton of big guys. So like the team value on these stunty teams end up being just gigantic.
It's gonna be a fun week. Obviously, you know, just the way the schedule's worked out, a lot of games happen before we even get to talk about stuff. So it's more recap than preview.
Right. And we moved the day that we announced the games up a day so that way people have a chance to plan for the weekend. That way, if they want to meet on a Friday, they can. They've got at least a 24-hour notice to do that. So.
Yeah. Well, I think that is gonna wrap it for this week. This is our last week of sort of the truncated episode. So next week we're back to like our normal kind of schedule. Yeah. So we'll have a deep dive.
It looks like the playoffs for the Secret League are going to be top 4. So I think that spot's actually going to be extremely competitive.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah. That's gonna be a very narrow race. Like you have to be like fighting your way into the top 4. Now we still haven't heard anything about the next edition. Mm-hmm. So I think we've got at least another month of this league to go. So there's still plenty of time to right the ship. I wish we had more info about the end date.
Yeah.
For 2020, but we have not heard the first thing. They've announced like another Warhammer quest, which is cool, but no Blood Bowl information.
We're not a Warhammer Quest podcast. So, gotta keep that in mind. But yeah, if I could make a prediction on it, I think it'll probably be like a Black Friday.
I think
release.
so. I think that's very likely.
It'll probably be like that weekend. So we'll probably we'll have a good amount of time to get some stuff on. So yeah, but yeah, that's gonna do it for us for this week. But I appreciate y'all listening.